All right, hello fellow coder, welcome to this next lesson in our installment where we are creating a real-world web app from scratch using Spring Boot via Java and the React on the front end with MySQL database, tying it all together. In this one, we're going to be adding more functionality into our comments portion of this equation, which is part of the CRUD, creating, reading, updating, and deleting of our data, which is the fundamental thing that programmers do, at least on the web or with the web, every day of their careers is pretty much what you do. You're always doing CRUD of some sort, creating, reading, updating, or deleting data. So if you want to continue on this journey of learning about CRUD with me, stick around. All right, so welcome back. In this one, we are going to be diving into some of the good stuff. We're going to be doing some reading, but first we want to talk about what we've done already. We first added the comments table to our database. Done. That's there from part one. We've added a simple UI to leave a comment as well. Done. That was part one. We've also created and added the ability to save a comment to the database. We've done the C of CRUD. That was from part two of the video. So if we've done the C in CRUD, the next thing we need to do is the R in CRUD, which means that we need to create an endpoint that allows us to read comments from our database. Again, a reminder, CRUD follows a very common coding convention with respect to REST endpoints and how you build out your endpoints. When you're reading data, you typically read in sort of this fashion with a GET request. You get from /comments, which will return all of the comments. Now, this one typically is used to get one comment when you pass in a comment ID, but actually we're in a bit of a unique situation where we want to get all the comments, but we actually want to sort of filter by a parameter. So this could almost be augmented with a question mark with params here. We want to pass in an assignment as well. So we want to say, hey, get me all the comments for a particular assignment ID. So that can be passed in as a parameter. We'll get there in the code, so I'll show you there. So let's jump on over to the code. So I guess let's start, where should we start? Let's start at the back end first. We'll start at the back end with the comment controller, because we're still working with the /comments endpoint when reading. So we'll do a get mapping, right, for the comments endpoint. So get from /comments, well, first is API /comments, means get all the comments, but we're going to add a little bit of a twist where the response, or in the parameters, I'll get there in a second, this method that we're going to be creating to get the comments for a specific assignment returns a response entity, just like above, but it's going to return a response of probably a list, or let's say a set. No, let's say a list of comments, because we want to have order, right, with our list of comments. That's what it's going to return, and we'll call this get, comments by assignment. And what we'll do here is, as a request parameter, different from request body. Request body is something that's inside of the body of the request. A request parameter is part of the URL itself. So we'll have a request parameter part of the URL, which will be the assignment ID. We'll make it a long, like so. Okay, now this, for now, we'll have it return a response entity okay, and I'll just return null for now, just so that we can get things in a compiling shape. Control Shift O to do our imports, and all of the go away, compilation errors go away. So now we need to populate this with something, right? So like I said in the first video, I'm closing my fist because I can hear my son crying upstairs. Every time I start talking with these videos, my son, I woke him up from a nap. Anyway, doesn't matter. It does, but hey, what are you going to do? Sorry. So what I said in the last video was controllers don't talk to repositories. They talk to services. Services talk to repositories. Okay, that is a very common coding convention. So the controller should just invoke the service, which means comment service dot, and we can say, get comments by assignment ID or something, and we can pass in the assignment ID. Okay, and this, if all goes well, will return a list of comments okay, which will then return on the response entity. It'll return that list of comments. So like I also said in the last video, I like to code like this, where I pretend that method already exists, okay, even though it doesn't exist yet, because then I can hover over it and just say create that method, and it does. Isn't that nice? So the reason why that works is because I've defined a return type, and I've defined the type of the parameter that's going in here, and I've given it the name of the method, which is literally all you need to create, well, almost all you need to create a function or a method or whatever you want to call it. In Java, you just need a modifier, a visibility modifier, which by default, when you hover over it and say create it, it just creates it by default as public. So it has the return type, it has the parameter going in, and it has the name of the method right here. So cool. So now this one, get comments by assignment ID, well, this is just a select statement. We want to select star from comments table where assignment ID equals the assignment ID that we're passing in, right? That's all that needs to happen. So there's a way to do this in the world of Spring Data JPA. We can just create our own custom query if we want, because we're passing in just an assignment ID, not an entire assignment object. So what we can do is create our own. So again, we are going to code as if it already exists. So assignment repo dot, and we'll say find by assignment ID. We'll pass in the assignment ID, and this, I was going to say we'll return a list of comments, but generally speaking, that's a bad idea to return a list from, because there could be duplicates. Ooh, generally speaking, we return a set. Okay. And we'll say return comments, which is going to not be happy here. So I'm going to backtrack. I am going to do a set. And over here, I'm going to change the return type here in the controller to be a set, just to get all my ducks in a row. Control-Shift-O to import Java util set, and save. And then this will be a set, save. And then this, if I do save all, should go away because I've updated the... oh, it didn't go away. Oh, I need to import set over here. Boom. Okay. I'll get to how we can tweak this in just a moment. When you return a list, sometimes you get duplicates for SQL reasons and joins and whatnot. You want to get rid of all the duplicate comments or all the duplicate objects, and it's a best practice to use a set because sets will get rid of duplicates, but you have to do a few things to make that work properly, and we'll get there. First, let's just create the method. Okay, we're going to create this method because we just, it doesn't exist yet, but now magically it does. Cool. But we need to have a query here. We need to create our own query. As you see above, we've sort of done a custom query before. So we want to do something similar. We want to say select. Oh, hold on. Sorry. No. What am I doing? Sorry. We want to... this is the wrong repository. Trevor, what are you doing? So get out of here. Let me escape out of here. We don't want assignment repo. We want comments or comment repo, right? Yeah, comment. Do we have a comment repository? Yeah, comment repository. So, my bad. Wrong repo. So comment repo is where we want this method to exist. So paste or create and then paste. Oh, I guess I copied that. Query. So we don't want to select, we want to select star from assignments, we want to select star from comment. So that tells you which repository you should create this method inside of. Right? That's something that usually just happens in my brain automatically that I don't say out loud. If you're saying select star from table, the table that you're selecting from is most likely the repository that you should be writing this code inside of. So I was about to create this select star from comment inside of the assignment repository. Select star from comment in an assignment repository does not compute because it's going to try to turn a comment into a repository or into an assignment. It's going to try to map comment to assignment, right? And that doesn't work. Comments and assignments aren't the same thing. So when we select, something C from comment C, it's going to turn the comments into right here, this thing. So is a comment the same thing as a comment? Yes. So now this mapping will work. Whereas before, you can't map a comment to, anyway, an assignment. Okay, so we want to select star from comment, C, okay, fine. But then we want to say where C dot assignment dot ID equals assignment ID, I think. Is that going to work? So c.assignment, let's go into the comment object. So we have an assignment, right? And this is the name of it. And an assignment has an ID. So I think that's how you can do it. Is that how I can get away with not passing in the entire assignment object? Maybe. So we're going to see if that works. So this is saying, get me all the comments that have this assignment ID. Cool. And then we're going to assign that to a set. Okay. Now, let me save all my code everywhere. Okay, cool. Now, let's see if this works first. There's going to be a problem with my code. And it may not be evident at first, but it will become evident. And I see the future. I'm a, what's the movie? Precog. Don't worry about it. If you don't know the movie reference, don't worry. Let's go over here to the assignment submission view, and over here we need to have code to read. We need to invoke that method that we just created in the comment controller, the get mapping. We don't have one yet that accepts a request parameter. So let's go to our front end, and inside of this view, what is this view called? This is the assignment view or something. Assignment view. So in here, we onload. Do we have an onload anywhere? We have a use effect here. Do we have any other use effects? Use effect. When comment is modified, we can actually get rid of this use effect. Actually, let's just do this. Let's modify this to be our onload. There we go. Now we have an onload use effect hook. And we want to do an AJAX call to get our comments, right? API/comments. Request method is get. JWT, what is it? User.jwt. Request body, no. So there's no request body when you are doing a get request. Get requests do not have a body, but get requests do have parameters, request parameters, which you can put right here. Question mark, assignment ID equals something. Let's use our backtick notation so we can actually populate this with a value. Thusly, assignment ID. Like so. Cool. Okay. Is that it? I mean, it might be. Is this working? I guess we should do a then. Comments. And we can log the comments. 2. Ta-da! Sweet. So I love it when things just work the first time. Isn't that great? So let's get rid of the some console logs here. We have a bunch of noise in our console. Console.log. Let me just get rid of some. I was using this to debug previously. Yeah, we don't need to see the assignment ID. We know that works. This is the one we just put in with comments, and then this one we can get rid of. Okay, so let's save all. Boom. Okay, so 1, 2. 1, 2. So we have 2 comments. 1, 2. So let's put in some more comments. Comment 3, post. Comment 4, post. Comment 5, post. More comments! Exclamation mark. Post. So let's refresh. So now we have 6 comments coming in. Well, they seem to be in order. Okay, when you're working with a set, because we're working with a set, usually it is not ordered correctly. That was the problem that I was saying I was a precog and saying I could see it happening. But I do not see that happening. That's interesting. I was expecting it to return a hash set not any sort of ordered set. In any case, that's okay. For comments, we actually want to order them in descending order, because I think the most recent comment should appear at the top. Is that true? Is that how it normally works? I guess not. Usually speaking, I guess the comments appear in chronological order, where the one that was posted first appears at the top. Yeah, I guess. So we'll leave that as is. So now all we need to do is just take that data and display it. So we have it on the front end. It's right there, right? It's right... where? That's code viewer dashboard. No, that's not what I want. I want... Is it this index? Let me make this a little bit bigger so I can see. Assignment view. Yeah, I want this assignment view. Here, console log comments. So these are the comments, right? So we need to, typically speaking, we track this with state set comments, right? Equals use state empty array, because this is going to be an array of comments, okay? So this here, we'll just say set comments, okay? Although we should probably rename that, comment data, just to be not have any name collisions or anything. So we can set that into the data. And then now that we have comments in state, we can then populate the view, right? The view can have some stuff in it. Let's scroll down to here. So this is our text area and a button. And then below that, we can have another div, which is where the comments will appear. So class name is, I don't know, margin top, another 5 or something margin. And then in here, we will go through each assignment, comments. So we can, double brackets so we can do some code here. So we're gonna go to comments, which is just the raw data, remember, and comments is raw data as an array of objects, as we saw in the console. It was an array of objects. So with an array of objects, we can map it, which means we can transform the raw data into something else. So we want to transform that raw data into a view. We want to transform it into, like, HTML code, which is actually JSX, but it looks like HTML. So for each comment that we are iterating through, we can return something like a div, right? We'll return a div for each comment, and the div will just have maybe the comment's text. So we can say comment.text. So now we'll have a new div for each comment. Boom. See? Now we have a new div for each comment. So now we can visually see the comment. And now we can play. We can play, ladies and gentlemen. We can do things like, oh my god, I almost fell down in my chair. I have a footrest, and anyway, it doesn't matter. Don't worry about it. I can be clumsy. So we want to maybe put the person's name. Again, I don't know what this should look like. I can only imagine the simplest thing that we can do is we can say, put a span here that makes it bold. So we can have like style, font weight, bold, right? And we can have the person's name. So comment dot, created by, and then dot username, I think. Oh, don't quote me on that. Sweet. So now it says Trevor, right? Trevor is the username. No, that's, I don't know if we want to show the usernames or if we want to show the actual names of the person. Do we have names in here anywhere? So we don't have a name for the person. So we should probably have names for our users, right? So we should probably have a private string name. Yeah. And we'll Control-Shift-SR to import the name. And we'll say save. That'll save the name. And then let's insert some names in the back end. Oh, it needs to reboot. So I'll reboot the server so it picks up on that change and modifies our table. So we just modified the domain object, the user here, domain object. We added a name with a getter and a setter, which then automatically adds the column. Because in our source main resources application properties file, right here, we put update for the Hibernate DDL auto, which means if it detects a change, it will do its best to actually reflect that change in the database table, which is what we see here. Okay. Focus. Oh, I love this stuff. So let's start from users. So now we have name, right? So the name here can be, you know, Trevor. Code reviewer 1 could be, one of our code reviewers right now is Rache, and one of our other code reviewers right now is Marianne. Apply, finish. So now we can read, instead of reading the username, I can say, hey, get me created by name. So that should switch to capital T Trevor. There we go. And we will have a colon and maybe a space. Oh, yeah, you can't have a space. How do you add a space? I think you have to do this and then space like that. Boop, there you go. So there you go. We can have, you know, the name of the person, and then we can get fancy and we can show the date and all this stuff. That's just going to add complexity for now. Like you can say, you know, you can add, let's do this. Like you can say comment text, and then in brackets you can have comment dot created date, I think. You know, so now we see the date, but it's a terribly formatted date, so we need to learn how to format the dates. But just to show you that we have all the data is there, right? And basically that's cool. So we're reading it. The way that it's being displayed is awful. So you know, maybe to make this more standardized in terms of the shape of it, let's get rid of that to get rid of the date, and maybe we'll put the date over at the beginning of the span. So let's turn all of this into backtick notation. So we can say, hey, put in the date maybe in square brackets. So put the date in square brackets, then a space, then the name, then a colon, then a space, right? Boom. Oh, except I wouldn't want the date to be bolded. Shoot. Anyway, you get the idea. We could play around with it. This is obviously not the final version of it by any way, shape, or form, or by any means. This is, yeah. So, cool. Yeah. By the way, when I post a comment, what comes back? I think it just returns that single comment back, right? I'm just I'm thinking ahead in the future here, and I'm wondering when we assignment view, getting the assignments, updating the comments, set comment, and that's all we do. We just set comment. What about the API submit comments? So then we say comment. Oh, and we do nothing. Okay, so we should really add this comment. We should probably say const comments copy equals destructure the comments array and say comments copy dot push the comment that just came back. Is that we'll call this comment data. So I'll push that to the copy, and then we'll say set comments to be the comments copy, like this. So now if we add a new comment, and we say post, hopefully it'll appear. Boop, new comment. There you go. Bravo. That's a quick little fix. Sweet. What about a blank comment? Does it allow blank comments? Oops. It does. It allows blank comments. That's obviously something that we need to tweak. And then we should like delete a comment and that kind of thing. But anyway, that's later. So we've done the C and the R. Maybe we should do an update comment thing, but probably a better way to do it to avoid the complexity of update, we can just do the delete. So where you can hover over your own comment or something and delete it. But in the next video, what we'll do is we'll think about, or maybe I'll grab a design from, I don't know, Facebook or something in terms of what their comments look like, and then I'll sort of mimic that format. So we'll probably reformat our comments and the look and the feel to make it prettier. And we'll probably start the process of getting into the D part of the equation, which is deleting, because editing an existing comment right now, I don't think the juice is worth the squeeze on that one. It's not too difficult to do that, but I guess it's not too difficult. We might as well, if I want to give you the full experience of CRUD. I should do the U. I shouldn't cop out, should I? So I'll tell you what, we'll do the U next, and then we'll do the D, and we'll make it pretty too, and we'll see how many videos that takes. Does that sound like a plan? Cool. If it does, then go ahead and subscribe above by clicking on the round icon above my face. That allows you to see more of these episodes as they come out. And be sure to also click the like button so that the YouTube algorithm gods will be appeased. Thank you so much for your time today, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next one. So take care of yourself. Happy learning, and bye for now.